Naruto stood in silence, Haku at his side. Surrounding them was the rest of the village, all gathered for Hiruzen Sarutobi's funeral. The grief was palpable. The death of the third Hokage was going to be a massive blow. On top of that, the hidden sand found the Kazekage dead as well, killed by Orochimaru. Both villages were in mourning, both vulnerable. Jiraiya assured him that none of the other villages would try anything. The third Hokage was a respected man across the world. None would disgrace his death. The fact two Jinchuriki were still in the leaf was also a great deterrent. Naruto was asked by Jiraiya and Asuma, Hiruzen's son, if he wanted to say a few words. Him and the third were quite close. As much as he wanted to, Naruto knew he couldn't. The village hated him. His friends he'd tried to protect from himself for so long hadn't said a word to him. Sakura, Haku, and Shikamaru were the only ones to talk to him after the funeral. Shino would have done so too if his clan didn't pull him away, the same as Hinata. After the ceremony was over, Jiraiya took him, Asuma, and Konohamaru aside, handing each of them a scroll. Sarutobi-sensei left a will for Asuma. He's left almost everything to you and Konohamaru. Asuma nodded, clutching the crying Konohamaru. Asuma had never been as close to Hiruzen as Konohamaru was. Even so, Asuma vowed he would take care of the boy. As for Naruto, he's left everything his parents left behind after their deaths. After the promotion ceremony, I'll tell you everything you want to know about them. Naruto nodded, taking the scroll. So, when is this ceremony? Tomorrow. Since Hiruzen recommended me for Hokage, I'll be filling that role until a proper successor has been decided. Who are the other candidates? Asuma asked. Danzo Shimura is the first candidate, but we both know he can't become Hokage for any reason. Kakashi has the potential to be one as well, but like me, he isn't suited for the role. The last is Tsunade, but it might take some persuasion. Asuma nodded. If anyone should take my father's place, it's one of the Sannin. Jiraiya nodded, Asuma leading Konohamaru away. He turned to Naruto, who was staring back at the fire monument in the Leaf Cemetery. Jiraiya placed a hand on his shoulder. He thought of you as a grandson. He truly cared about you. Naruto didn't say a word. Slowly, people left the cemetery, filling the streets with whispers and quiet sobs. The lively atmosphere of the Hidden Leaf vanished that day, and wouldn't return in full for some time. Naruto felt the unease in the air as he walked through the streets, civilians and shinobi alike staring at him with contempt. Most had seen his battle against the One-Tails from afar during the invasion, and felt the chakra of the Nine-Tails. Even if he wasn't responsible for the third Hokage's death, the people would find a way to push the blame on him. He was always their scapegoat. Haku felt furious witnessing the stares, but restrained herself for Naruto's sake. His willpower to have lived like this for so long was unimaginable. Naruto? Naruto stopped in front of the Yamanaka flower shop. Ino stood in the door, holding a small bouquet of flowers, handing them to him. What are these for? It's not much. Just a way to tell you I'm sorry for the way I treated you in the past. Naruto's eyes softened. You didn't have to. Ino shook her head. I wanted to. I couldn't imagine what you must have been through, carrying this burden for all of us. Naruto was silent for a moment before uttering a thank you. Ino ducked back inside the shop, Naruto and Haku continuing back to their forest haven. Both were silent as Naruto placed the flowers in a stone vase. After a moment of awkward silence, Naruto opened his ninjutsu notebook, scribbling down a bunch of ideas. Are you sure you should be back to training already? Haku asked. It's the only way I know how to cope, Naruto answered. a slight bitterness in his voice. Haku could understand. Back with Zabuza, he pushed her at all times, whenever her emotions started to cloud her mind. It was effective, but in her case, it caused her to lose touch with her emotions. Luckily, Naruto didn't seem to have that problem, at least for now. Even so, shouldn't you allow yourself to grieve? She asked. Naruto stopped his writing. The fox won't let me. What do you mean? It's chakra. It's voice. Both dull my emotions. Fear, sadness, even happiness at times. The only thing it heightens is hatred. The more I use its chakra, the harder it becomes to feel anything. Meditation is the only way to stop the effects, but after using so much of its chakra against the One-Tails, it will be a while until I can feel anything. Naruto's voice cracked. I can't even force myself to cry. Haku felt her chest tighten, her body moving on its own. She pulled Naruto closer to her, his head resting against his chest. What are you doing? The blonde asked. I don't know, Haku admitted. I just remembered that my mother used to do this to me when I was a child, before she was killed. Naruto felt Haku's warmth, his own body relaxing. He didn't pull away, letting himself feel a sense of comfort for the first time in what seemed to be an eternity. Neither said a word. After a while, Naruto opened his eyes, Haku staring down at him, her face a dull red. You're blushing, Naruto chuckled. I am? Haku asked, touching her face in curiosity. It suits you, Naruto grinned, sitting up. I'm feeling much better. Thank you, Haku. Haku nodded with a faint smile, Naruto rising to his feet. No point sitting around. Gaara should be awake now that the new seal for the One-Tails has had time to replace the old one. I'll come with you, Haku said. No need. Besides, Gaara will want to talk alone. We're both going to be tuning tomorrow anyways. I can take care of myself. I know you can, Haku whispered as Naruto walked off. Naruto opted to avoid the streets, entering Gaara's hospital room through the window. The One-Tails Jinchuriki sat staring at the seal on his stomach. I take it the seal is working, Naruto grinned. Gaara merely glanced at him. I can't hear the One-Tails. Its voice is gone. That's the benefit of having a proper seal. Now you'll only hear him if you want to. Unfortunately, I seem to be having your old problem now, though I can limit how much the fox talks to me. Gaara stood, lowering his shirt. My siblings and sensei visited me earlier. We plan to return to the hidden sand tomorrow. There's much to be done now that my father has been killed. Do you have any idea on who will become Kazekage? There's a council of elders who will take the role for the time being. My sensei, Baki, is also on the council, so they will decide on candidates. Have you considered trying to become Kazekage yourself? Naruto asked. I hadn't given it much thought. Besides, like you, the village fears me. In addition, the One-Tails has gone on multiple rampages over the years. It will be a long time before I am trusted. Naruto frowned. All we can do is work to prove ourselves. Gaara nodded. I've been told you're becoming a Chunin. In my eyes, that's one step towards your goal. Naruto shrugged. It's likely to cause more problems. The village is going to be up in arms. And depending on who my parents are, it might be even worse. Your parents? Gaara asked. They died after sealing the One-Tails inside me. After I found that out, I did a little research, but it didn't bear much fruit. since the only records I had were from the library, which doesn't have a list of deceased shinobi. Gaara scanned the blonde head to toe. You're correct. Your heritage will certainly become an issue. Why do you say that? As son of the Kazekage, I was given access to records on every hidden village. If my theory is correct, I believe I know your parents' identities. However, I don't think it's my place to tell you. Naruto sighed. I understand. But now to the most important issue. We have to make our friendship official. Gaara would have raised an eyebrow, but his confusion was still clear. I thought helping you take down Orochimaru's barrier was good enough. Naruto chuckled. True, but I was thinking of something more personal. Naruto pulled a scroll from his pouch, handing it to Gaara. Yesterday, I placed a handful of shadow clones inside this scroll. When they're destroyed, all their memories return to me, regardless of distance. If you're ever in danger, or just want to talk, you can summon one of the clones. Gaara stared at the scroll, a strange feeling coming over him. Happiness. This was the first time he'd felt it in so long. He didn't know how to respond. Don't feel like you need to give me something in return, Naruto assured him. I just want to make sure you know you can trust me. We are brothers in a way, if you want to look at it like that. Gaara looked at the blonde, feeling his face morph into a faint smile. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. I will cherish this and use it well. Naruto nodded, reaching out his hand. He looked at the open palm, slowly reaching out his own. Naruto grasped it tightly, a foxy grin on his face. Hokage Tower, next day. Shikamaru Nara, I hereby promote you to the rank of Chunin, Jiraiya declared, handing the boy a Chunin vest. Shikamaru forced back a yawn as he took the vest from the signing. The sage took the next vest from Hiruzen's old desk, turning to the next promoted shinobi. Hakuyuki, for your skills in both ninjutsu and taijutsu, as well as your loyalty to the Hidden Leaf, I hereby promote you to the rank of Chunin. Haku took her vest. She doubted she'd ever use it. At this point, she wasn't certain how long she would stay in the leaf. Jiraiya moved on. Sasuke Uchiha, you displayed skill on the first 2 stages of the exam. Although your battle with Gaara in the finals was interrupted, you played a major role in the defeat of the One-Tails. I hereby promote you to the rank of Chunin. Sasuke took his vest, hiding a smirk. In the back of his mind, he was frustrated. He'd been knocked out halfway through the fight, leaving Naruto to defeat the One-Tails by himself. But he wasn't frustrated that Naruto was the one to defeat it. It was the way he was being treated that angered him. He couldn't explain why, but he knew Naruto deserved the credit. Yet, the village was looking at him like he was a monster. So what if he's Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails? Sasuke asked himself. He's the reason all of them are still alive. He doesn't deserve to be seen as a demon. The Uchiha glanced at Naruto. He had a permanent blank stare since they met up before the ceremony. He was doing his best to ignore the hatred, just as he'd done in the past. Naruto, for your incredible act of bravery and defeat of the One-Tails, displaying a full range of your skills, I hereby promote you to the rank of Chunin. Naruto carefully took his vest, staring at the Uzumaki swirl on the back. He learned recently with Karin that the red swirl on all the Hidden Leaf vests was their clan symbol. Before their destruction, the Uzumaki were allied with the leaf, the swirl on the vest acting as a symbol of their trust. Now, after they were gone, it was worn to keep their memory alive in the hearts of shinobi, though it seemed that too had dwindled. The 4 of you have done well, considering most of you are recent academy graduates. However, you still have much to learn, and considering the broken state this village is in, you shall remain with your current teams. In the future, once you have gained more experience, you'll be allowed to take the Jonin exams, which are many times harder than the Chunin exams. But we'll save that for another time. Now, go forth and make this village. And Lord Hiruzen proud, Jiraiya declared. Yes, Lord Jiraiya, the new Chunin said in unison. Naruto, you ready? The sage asked. The blonde nodded. Is it okay if I have the rest of Team 7 hear this too? Are you sure? Jiraiya asked. Naruto's gaze held firm. I've kept secrets from them for long enough. The least I can do is stop hiding. They're my friends, after all. Sasuke caught Naruto's stare. Did he really see this? He did want to learn who Naruto's parents were. Sasuke wasn't sure if he liked the answer. You can stay too, Shikamaru, Naruto insisted. There's no need. I already know who your parents are. Naruto stared at the Nara with blank annoyance. Of course you knew. Let me guess, it would be too troublesome to tell me. Guilty as charged, he sighed, exiting the room. Sakura and Kakashi, who were waiting outside, stepped in. Jiraiya standing beside the Hokage chair, which he didn't dare sit in. Naruto stepped forward, nervousness filling him. His peers stood behind him, waiting eagerly. Kakashi watched from the back, already knowing the answer. Jiraiya pulled out a scroll, 2 pictures appearing in smoke. Hiruzen kept the truth from you because your parents had many enemies, all of which would go to great lengths to get their hands on you, besides you being a Jinchuriki. But when they first found out that they were having a baby, your parents left these photos in case something happened to them. He handed Naruto the first photo. This is your mother, Kushina Uzumaki, the last Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Naruto was motionless, staring at the photo. Long hair, the same color as Karin's, a pin holding it away from her face. Blue eyes bordering on purple, that seemed to shine with joy, despite the burden she carried. Her face beamed with happiness, lips curled into a wide grin. She's beautiful, Sakura said, looking over Naruto's shoulder. She was a feisty one, Jiraiya chuckled, but she was also one of the most caring people I've ever met. Kakashi can attest to that. When him and his team came back from missions, Kushina was always there to welcome them home. Who was your sensei? Sakura asked the Jonin. Naruto's father, Kakashi answered. That's the reason I took him on as a student. Naruto looked up at Jiraiya. So, who was my father? Jiraiya wasn't sure if he should frown or smile as he handed Naruto the second photo. Your father is Minato Namikaze. You might recognize his name as that of the 4th Hokage. Team 7, aside from Kakashi, let out an audible gasp. Naruto was the spitting image of his father. The same spiky blonde hair, the only difference being Minato's locks on the side of his head. Their eyes were also identical, an ocean blue. And although the 4th didn't have whiskers, their faces were also similar. My father is the 4th Hokage? Naruto started in shock. I mean, I've seen his picture a few times and thought we looked similar, but he's actually my dad? Jiraiya nodded. He was just as shocked to find out he was having a child. Both him and Kushina would have been amazing parents. But when Kushina was giving birth, the 8 trigram seal was weakened, and the Nine Tails was released somehow. No one knows what truly caused it to escape, except your parents. When Sarutobi-sensei found them, the Nine Tails had stabbed them through the stomach. They jumped in front of you to protect you, and for the safety of this village, Minato had no choice but to seal the fox inside you. He told the 3rd Hokage to keep your identity a secret, as Minato had many enemies after the last great ninja war. He wanted you to be seen as a savior by this village, but somehow, rumors began to spread that you were the fox used in a human body, and that you were responsible for the 4th Hokage's death. Naruto took in a few deep breaths. His shock was slowly turning into excitement. He was son of not only an Uzumaki, but one of the strongest shinobi in the Hidden Leaf. That explains why you're as strong as you are, Sasuke grunted, arms folded. I'm sure it's a factor, but neither Minato or Kushina can explain Naruto's ability to use all 5 chakra natures. In addition, besides high chakra levels, Naruto hasn't shown signs of any other Uzumaki abilities, including an innate knowledge of seals. Then how does he control all the elements? Sakura asked. We don't know, Kakashi answered. It's possibly because of the Nine Tails, but that's the only explanation we've got. What was my father like? Naruto asked the Sannin. Jiraiya smiled. He was as kind as they come, but deadly on the battlefield when needed, of course. Like Kushina, he was a prodigy. But where Kushina was a master in both ninjutsu and taijutsu, Minato learned the Uzumaki sealing arts with skill rivaling the clan's own. He was a master of the flying Raijin jutsu, among others. Both your parents were amazing people, and shinobi. Naruto nodded slowly, staring at the 2 photos of his parents, knowing he would never have the chance to know them. Even so, there was a sense of relief knowing the truth of his past. They died to protect him, and even though they forced the Nine Tails upon him, they wanted him to be happy and praised. Do you know who started the rumors about me being the Nine Tails? Jiraiya frowned. Danzo, no doubt. He's always wanted to be Hokage, and goes to great lengths to achieve his goals. He likely spread the idea to rally people behind him. Fortunately, Sarutobi Sensei kept the peace. But that might change now there is no successor to take his place. Which brings me to the other reason I wanted to talk to you, Naruto. Tsunade is one of the only candidates suitable for the position, and I plan to find her. I plan to take you and Taku with me so we can train on the move. Plus, Kushina and Tsunade were rather close, considering my old teammate is part Uzumaki. Naruto nodded. I understand. But what's going to happen now that I know the truth? I looked at the seal the old man left for me, but all it had inside it was a key. Naruto revealed the key. It was a dull silver with no special engravings. However, there was a seal writing across it, likely to act as a second stage of security. That key goes to your parents' house, along with everything else they owned. Lord Third was holding on to it, not knowing if you would like to move in, considering you prefer to stay secluded in the forest, Jiraiya explained. As for your parents, he was implanted to the whole village after you became a Chunin, when you were strong enough to defend yourself. I can make the announcement tomorrow if you wish. Naruto shook his head. I don't think anyone else should know. Why not? Sakura asked, taken aback. Because their hatred of me has only increased since the old man's death. If it's revealed now I'm son of the 4th Hokage, the civilians will think it's some elaborate scheme and think I'm just trying to get special treatment or something. It's best I don't cause more trouble for myself. Which also means you should hold on to this, pervy sage. Naruto placed the key to his parents' house in the man's hand, a look of sadness in his eyes as he did. Are you sure about this, Naruto? Haku asked. You've been waiting a long time for this. I know, Naruto sighed. But for the sake of my friends, it's best I'm not connected to my parents, at least until I've gained the village's trust. Besides, I've waited this long. A few more years won't hurt. Idiot, Sasuke cursed, seeing the fake smile Naruto had on his face. Who cares what the village thinks? They don't have any right to treat you like this. Maybe not, but I love this village. I love my friends. If that means I have to sacrifice my own happiness, then I'll do it to achieve my goal. The blonde chuckled. I guess the two of us are alike in that way. Sasuke gritted his teeth. How the hell does he keep doing this? Why does he insist on being like this? Acting like he's not worth anything. Acting like we're friends. You're crazy, was all the Uchiha could say. Naruto's fake smile dropped. Maybe. But I like what I am. I like being able to help people. Even at the cost of yourself. It's better than using everyone else for my own ends, Naruto replied smoothly. Sasuke twitched, knowing the blonde was referring to him and his drive for revenge. He felt the curse mark pulse, but forced it down. Naruto was right. He just didn't know if he could admit it. Thank you, Pervy Sage, for telling me about my parents. But please don't tell anyone else. I'll tell the ones I trust, but I don't want the whole village to know. Jiraiya nodded in acceptance. This was Naruto's decision, one he didn't dare deny. If you like what you just heard, consider hitting the subscribe button and bell icon to get notified about new videos. If there's a part you've missed, then check out the entire playlist on screen. If you like this story, please share it with your fellow anime lovers. Any support helps a lot. That's all for now. This is Ninja Kai, disappearing in a golden flash.